Dominic Vella, welcome to the Contractor Stories podcast. It's great to have you here. How you doing?
Good, Jim. Jim, thank you.
It is wonderful, like I said, to have you here. I love what you've done with your business. We're going to really dig into this. You are a person who has got a great story, and that's what Contractor Stories is all about, digging into the individual, why they started it, and how they became successful. So before you get into what you do and why you do it, I understand that you were frustrated as a consumer.
Yeah.
You decided that you're going to do it better in the fencing business. So talk about that and then get into what you do, how you've grown, and who you service. Who's your ideal customer?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. I own a fence company called Fantastic Fence in the Sacramento, California area. Years ago, I owned some rental property, had to hire somebody to replace a fence. And the experience of doing that, I'd hired a lot of different trades, heating and air companies, plumbing companies. When I got to the fence, it was a very different experience. I couldn't find anybody professional. People that would say they would show up, they didn't show up. People that would come send you your bid and never got the bid. Um, just the communication and the love of professionalism wasn't there. Fast forward, maybe even a few months, 6 months, less than a year. I actually started the business with my neighbor. It was during kind of 2011. The economy wasn't perfect at that time. He was doing a lot of pool safety fencing. And I was like, well, why don't you install the fencing like everybody has? And he's like, well, I don't know, maybe. And I was like, I'll do it with you. And he's like, really? And so the next time I said, just let me know tomorrow. And he came out the next day and he goes, let's do it. And I was like, okay. So that's how we started.
That's
So
how great businesses start, kinda like Apple in a garage. You get a
yeah.
couple of guys named Steve, and look what happened, right? So, it's amazing. So your story is interesting because in my book I wrote a while ago called Meet Check a Pro Joe, that's what I call myself on the radio, and people ask, "How come it's not Jim?" It's because Joe rhymes with Check a Pro, the name of my business I started in 2005. But in my book, I talk about the reason why I started my pre-qualified home service directory for homeowners is I hired contractors that sucked. They were
Yeah.
bad. And I decided there's got to be a better way. So I started this thing and helped out my neighbors. So it's the same type of thing where it came from this need inside of, hey, this industry really isn't good. Like in fencing, it's really kind of a handyman plus at best. A
Yeah.
handyman does all these different things, right? A jack of all trades, master of none. You run into them all the time, I'm sure, in your business. I'm sure a lot of people say, a lot of homeowners say, Dominic, you're way more expensive than that guy. And you
Yeah.
say, you don't want to hire that guy. But if you want to hire
Yeah.
that guy, here's my number. And in a couple of weeks, you can call me. I'll come out and fix what that guy did. Is that pretty much the
Yep.
story?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. A lot of times I give people an example. I'm like, well, listen, I need to do it the right way. And I'm sure you want to do it the right way. And they do. A lot of times they're tempted by that price, right? I'm like, I can sell you that 50-cent hamburger. Not sure if in an hour you're going to feel good about that decision. Like, so, in the end, usually once they realize that, they're like, okay, I get it. And we are a very fair price for the quality we install, the materials and the labor. In the end, I give them enough pictures and video, etc. Reviews are massive that they can see the value, and this is probably their biggest investment they have is their home. So they want it done right, and so that's why together they make the decision to go with us most of the time, even though they're tempted by that low price.
People need to buy on value. Um,
Yeah,
I love talking to entrepreneurs such as yourself in home service who aren't afraid to provide a great service and product and charge a lot of money for it.
mm,
Because people will spend money on value. And when people say that's not true, then say, why are people purchasing something that doesn't even have great value that's expensive. Let's take a Lamborghini. Is a Lamborghini really a great value?
Yeah.
No, but they feel good about the purchase. So if you can make them feel good about the fence purchase, maybe it's a warranty, maybe it's got a special coating on it, maybe it's got a special latch or lock. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
exactly how that works in your business. Maybe it even has a real nice sign tag on it saying "Made by you
Mhm.
guys," instead
Mhm.
of not, because sometimes actually the homeowner might not mind having that on the fence if it looks good because they're like, "This was built by a quality company." And
Right.
so you need to be in front of the right buyer. And, people are trying to sell to everybody. So, Dominic, if I were to ask you, who is your customer? I hope you don't tell me anybody who needs a fence.
Right. Well, we'll sell a fence to anybody who
You
needs a
will?
fence, but that's not my most ideal customer. I mean, really, I find who are our best customers? Our best customers are busy people. Usually they're 40 plus, and they really are trying to hire the best company. They're not trying to price shop this thing 18 ways from Sunday to the point that they just confuse themselves, right?
Mm.
So they want to hire a good company that they can trust to come into their home, do it the right way, do it efficiently, and then back the product. And who is a busy person? Well, a busy person might be a professional. It might be, you know, um, just a normal average family, and one of the parents is at home with the kids, and that they got three kids, and they're running around because they're all different ages and they got different activities and etc. But he or she just is like, I need somebody that I can trust that's going to get me on schedule, get it accomplished, and I know that it'll be done right, and it won't impact our life at the same time in a negative way. So, busy people.
Yeah, and Dominic, not only done right, but if for some reason you guys messed up somehow,
Yeah, sure.
that homeowner knows that you're going to come back and you are going to remedy whatever the
Yeah,
issue is forever, because you're
yeah,
not going anywhere, because you've built a large company in your area with a great reputation. And that's the difference between these companies that can't seem to get past the 1 or $2 million mark. You
yeah,
have, and it's a totally different company. So many home service companies in all different disciplines, all verticals, so many of them are half a million, 750,000, 2,000,000, 3,000,000, and they're at the bottom of this pyramid. At the
yeah,
top, and you're at the top somewhere, right? At the top, those companies have found a way, and you found a way, and I want you to tell everyone how you found the way to get from the 1,000,000 to the 12,000,000, 10,000,000
yeah,
mark, whatever.
yeah,
How do you do that? Because a lot will try and retreat, right? And they'll say, "I'll try again," and they'll retreat, because when they're a one-man shop, they do everything and they can control stuff. When they have to hire another truck or van, or a person and get another truck or van, now they're
yeah,
responsible for a human being or 2, more equipment, more vehicles, larger warehouse space. They're not working out of their garage anymore, and all of a sudden, their expenses went way up, and they're like,
right.
"I'm making less money and working harder, and I gotta keep replacing people
Yeah,
who leave."
yeah,
And so, but once you get probably past, I'm guessing if you're stuck at 1,000,000 or 2, if you can get to 5 or 6, it's then easier to scale, isn't it?
yeah, 100%. And really it comes down to, you know, um, I coach some companies that are under $1,000,000, and the biggest pieces that I talk to is, well, twofold. I'm always like, don't lose sight of marketing. Marketing, marketing, marketing. Tell the world what you do. Your job is to tell the world what you do and what you sell, right? And the second piece is continual improvement, right? I'm a big learner. I tell people constantly, we mess up. We mess up constantly. We could have done something a different way, more efficiently. Um, you know, we can't I don't have a time machine, can't go back. We learn it. It's our education fee of learning,
Yeah.
and we go and we can always move forward. So my big push with people is continue to look around and see what other people are doing. That's where I see the people that scale are the people that are looking around, seeing what other people are doing, ask them questions. really, because honestly, the winners out there are more than happy to tell you exactly what they did and how they did it. And they're usually happy to just be of assistance to you because those winners like to help other folks that are trying, right? And so, I always tell people, I'm like, learners are leaders. Keep learning from podcasts, keep learning from, Facebook groups and peer groups and outreach to other companies. Um, that is what will scale you.
I should rename my podcast the Winning Contractors Podcast because that's who I like to have on my program like you. You're right. People who have accomplished something and are successful, many of them wanna give back because it's kind of like, "Hey, you're at the bottom of this mountain. I've scaled it. I'm up here looking down. I'll tell you how to get up,
Yeah,
but I won't pull you up. I'm gonna help you get up." All right? So I'm not sending down you know, a a rope and have a crane pull you up. No, 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 no,
yeah,
no, 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 no. If you listen to me and if you do these things, and it won't be easy, and you're going to slip a little bit, and partway up the mountain, you're going to slide down again, and then you're going to come up a bit. And it could take you 10 years to get up here. If not, you're stuck at the bottom. But I want
yeah,
to help you. And that's why people go on podcasts. That's why they write books. That's why they speak. And you and I know a lot of these people. We surround ourselves with them.
yeah,
They're inspirational and it's important, but I will tell you, so many people who are at the bottom of this pyramid do not want to grow and get better. They may say so,
yeah,
but you have to take action, right? So they may say, I want to be a $10 million home service provider, but they're at
yeah,
500,000. And when you ask, where were they a year ago? 500,000. Where were you 2 years ago? 650. Whoa, what? You've
yeah,
gone down? And and
yeah.
and so and they're like, "Well, I tried and I went up and it, it's just too hard." And for most, it will be hard. That's why I say there's this pyramid, right? A lot at the
Mhm.
bottom, few at the top. And that's the way it is even with income in our country. If you look at the average worker is gonna be toward the bottom, by the way, where the
Mhm.
taxes come in. Um, and and the ones at the top 1%, which isn't all that hard to get there. I don't even think you have to make more than $1 million to be in the top 1% of income earners, okay?
Yeah,
Most people aren't gonna get there, but they could.
yeah,
They just won't. Why do you think, Dominic, people won't get there in their business? Like, what is stopping them? Are they their own worst enemy? Are they roadblocking themselves? Or is it the industry they're in? Is it the economy? Because people always blame the economy. They blame the
right.
president, they blame the governor, they blame the weather. Are they blaming too many people?
Yeah, well, I think while we're blaming people, there's other people out there winning still. So it comes down to consistency, right? So consistency, one of the things that I've learned is that this top five concept, it's a home service freedom concept. We as entrepreneurs, we have a lot of ideas. That's
Mhm.
kind of how we got into this boat, right? And we might have a ton of ideas. And one of the concepts that they pass along that really helped me was they said, listen, put all of your ideas, all the things you want to accomplish, put them on a piece of paper. Maybe it's 30 items long. So you document all 30 items. It says, now pick the top five, or if you don't have a team, maybe it's the top two if it's just you, right? Pick the top two things that you think you can move. Don't have it be like, I'm gonna write one of them be like, I'm gonna write all my SOPs just by myself, like give yourself some attainable ones and get that thing to 80%. Because if you can write all 30 things down on a piece of paper, they're off your shoulders. You aren't going to forget them. You set them aside. You say, we're going to get to those. We're going to attack two, three, four, five things at a time, right? And we're going to focus on these. Get them to 80%, and then kind of put them over here in treading along. Keep monitoring it, but make sure we don't slip off. I think a lot of folks they think I have too many things and I have to do the daily work. I have too many things. And so they do nothing. And so really it comes down to pick one or two things that you can improve that will really move the needle for you. Um, and focus on those instead of feeling overwhelmed because overwhelmed is position most entrepreneurs are in, and it paralyzes you.
Yeah, so work on your business as well as in your business until the point you can just work on your business. Michael
Yeah,
Gerber wrote the E-Myth. Michael has been on this program as well, a personal friend of mine, and so many people consider that, the Bible of small business. And, he's been saying for, decades, work on the business and not in the business. Easy to say. Many of us are in the thick of it every day. We are firefighters. We're putting out fires from the
yeah,
minute we start working at 6 a.m. We look at our phones to find out, oh, Gloria can't come in today because her kid is sick.
right,
That's the
right,
first problem, right? And we don't have
right.
a backup Gloria. There's no redundancy. So who's going to open the office? She's supposed to be there, but I, as the business owner, have a dentist appointment this morning. I guess I don't now. I cancel my dentist
Mhm.
appointment. I go into the office and open it up, and then I'm answering phones because Gloria is not there. And
Yeah,
these are the things where, like, I can't get ahead. I can't get ahead. And
yeah,
how do people get ahead with that? So let's say that's a real scenario. It's happening every day. We know that.
sure.
How does someone get ahead when they don't have the redundancy? They can't afford another person to open the door, answer the phones, make the coffee, dispatch whatever Gloria does.
Yeah,
She's doing
yeah,
everything, right? And so it's you, 2 technicians, and Gloria, and you're a technician, and sometimes you're Gloria as the owner.
yeah, yeah,
You're wearing all these hats. How do you get ahead as a coach? What do you tell these people?
yeah. I think you have to invest in something, and you have to bet in something, and you need to bet in yourself. I think that you may feel like you can't afford that other person, but if you stop and you think about it, and you think about, okay, what do I need to move to get enough money to afford that person, right? And then you just focus on that. It really comes back to in the end, money doesn't solve problems, but it really helps, right? So it doesn't make the problem go away, but in most cases, but it really, really helps, at least in the fact of building your team, and being able to afford to build your team. So a lot of times early on, it's kind of like, well, okay, I have to do the work myself. I'm one guy in a truck and I'm trying to grow. Well, maybe I need to raise my price, right? Or maybe I need to start putting out yard signs that I never did before. Maybe I have to start asking my customers for a referral. Hey, who else do you know that I might be able to work for? It's good to help me stay busy. Um, you know, all of these things, it comes down to that in the end, don't forget about it, the marketing. Because in the end, if you're marketing, you're bringing in more revenue, now you can afford it. And at first, it's gonna pinch. At first, it's going to we started an automated gate company. I brought in, um, a gentleman that has over 25 years doing automated gates, and effectively, for a while, I was funding him being
Mm,
here, right?
yeah.
Until you can get it up and running. So who takes the hit? You're looking at the guy who takes the hit. But I'm betting on myself, I'm betting on him and what we can do together. And so, you know, yes, at first it may hurt, but that's okay. Like sometimes hard times,
Mhm.
it makes great people. It'll make things better.
Well, sure. If you want to become an engineer or a physician, you have to invest in going to college and university. And so
Yeah.
there's a hit. You're not making any money and you're putting
Yeah.
all this money into you as an investment. But on the back end, arguably, these people make a lot of money as engineers and as doctors. So it's that type of thing. Sometimes you have to take a step back. Okay, we've all heard about AI. If you're not using AI today, you're way behind apparently. How are you guys using AI in your business
Yeah.
to grow, to learn, and possibly build on the employees and their tasks? My point is if you have Gloria and she's doing
Yep.
something, can she now manage 2, 3, 4, 5 AI employees? Can that work in your home service business, or is this something that's not applicable to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm massively into AI. Um, I think that it empowers everybody. I think a lot of people are worried that it's going to replace people. I actually think the world will continue to move faster. And your ability to be responsive is going to be dependent on your implementation of AI, right? Um, and it's also going to take the idea of AI. I actually heard this very recently, and it made a lot of sense to me. The gentleman said listen, the reason of AI is not to put people out of business or out of a job. It's to allow to take away minutia work. Like, here's a spreadsheet. It has a bunch of unique identifiers, and I need all of this 300 people that here's their unique ID. I need all of their name, their address, and their phone numbers pulled out of this database and put on this spreadsheet,
Mm,
right? And cross-referenced. Well, I used Claude Cowork this morning and did that in about 4 minutes while I was still working, right? That would have
yes,
took an employee all day. And so now I can help these customers much faster, right? Um, in the end, the um, we can use AI in a variety of functions. It's about giving us the ability to then have the time to now have the relationships that we used to have with customers, right? So the idea is not to put people out of work. It's to now allow us to be people again and to go and get to know your customer, to get out from behind the desk where you're having to do so many hours of paperwork or behind computer work, and to get to know your customers and to get to know the community and do outreach that you didn't have time for before.
sure. Okay, so I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench into this. So suppose
Okay.
the individual at an organization is not, um, people facing. They're in a
Mhm.
cubicle and they're doing admin work.
Yep.
Today, AI can really help you with your admin work. I
Mhm.
mean, great, like, for the admin work I personally do, if you wanna call it admin work, the paperwork, I'm 5 times more productive now. However, am I gonna get brain atrophy? I'll give you an example. So,
Mhm.
I do national radio shows for my home service clients. I would sit down and write a 30-second radio commercial from here.
Right.
Oh, I can go in now to any one of these, Gemini, I can go into Claude, I can go into Chat. They all know me. They all know what I
Sure.
do, okay? These aren't even paid versions. This is, like, simple stuff. It's like free, so anyone can do this. And
Yep.
you type in, "I need a 30-second radio commercial for Dominic Vella's company. You know who he is, you know what
Yep.
I do, 30 seconds." Boom. Oh, add his phone number too. It'll find your phone number. It'll put
Yeah.
it in. It'll be timed out 30 seconds. I can then take that script and it'll give me like 3 or 4 versions if I want.
Yeah.
I high tempo, low tempo, sense of urgency, call to action, and then I read it. "Oh, wait, I don't have to do that anymore because I can copy and paste that and put it into another AI, and soon
Mhm.
it'll be fluid where I won't have to, put it into another one like 11 Labs. It's
Right.
got my voice in it. It does the whole thing. So I can have Gloria do that for me, which
Yeah.
means I could be more customer facing. I could be out there, to
Yeah.
your point. But am I losing something where I'm not then using the creative anymore? I'm using AI for that. I mean, are you at all concerned in your personal or business life about it? Because I think about atrophy. For instance, you know what this is, right? We call it a phone, but it does everything.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember where we didn't have this. We didn't have any mobile phone. It was
Right.
screwed to the wall in the kitchen, and I had to remember everyone's number in my head. I don't even know my own grown children's phone number, and I'm not kidding you. That I'm
Yep.
not
I'm with you.
not kidding you, okay? I used to use maps to get to places. I just
Yeah.
ask the phone now. In the old days, you'd ask MapQuest, you have to type something in. You just ask the phone, and it'll get you there. So, people don't even know how to navigate. They don't even know which way's north, south, east, or west. I I'm a little
Sure.
concerned about that.
Yeah. Sure. There's good and bad to everything, right? So that phone in your hand, you don't need to pull out a map. You don't have to pull over to go figure out how to get there. It's
Mhm.
going to tell you how to get through your day more efficiently, which actually gets you home faster, right? And lets you have a conversation on the phone while you're driving. So it is benefiting you in a lot of ways, while at the same time, your kid's using it and he's getting lost from the world. So we have to control all of these things. There's pros and cons to everything. And I think that being scared of the technology is a dangerous scenario. When it's the
Yeah.
concept of Henry Ford and him going and saying, they said, well, here's a car, and what would you like to? I want a faster horse. And he's like, well, but I have this car, right? And so all that people understood at the time was the faster horse. And so I think we need to not be scared of it, and we need to learn how to use it. right? And how to creatively make things better. I mean, we made a coloring book for kids,
Yeah, yeah.
right? We go to houses, there's a kid at the, maybe mom answers the door or dad answers the door, and the kid comes out, and the kid's, whatever. And we used to give them stickers, and then they started putting stickers on the house. And we're like, maybe we don't give the kids stickers anymore. We'll give them a coloring book and some crayons, right? So we used Gemini's Nano Banana, create a coloring book that's branded for Fantastic Fence, and you give the kids some crayons and a coloring book, and the kid's excited. Now you have the parents' attention, and we can talk about what we need to talk about, and the kid's happy too, right? So little things like that where I couldn't have created a coloring book, and now I can do it in 20 minutes with some revisions.
But Dominic, you're putting the graphic designer out of work. That's what we're hearing. And it's true because when you have an idea now, and this is a good thing,
Yeah,
I'm not being difficult,
yeah,
but
yeah,
when you have an idea now, you can go to Claude, you can go to Chat, you can go to Gemini. And by the way, I'm liking Gemini a lot, and I'm really getting behind Google. But
yeah,
anyway, you have an idea, and it's amazing how smart these things are. You don't have to write a book. You just
yeah,
you prompt a couple of words and I'm like, "How did you get you understand me more than anyone in the world, especially my wife." And and
yeah,
and so so you can create logos, you can create images, you can create graphs, spreadsheets that would take you hours or all day.
yeah,
And it's it's amazing. It is changing the way we do business. And I think it is good. I don't know really how we got down this road. It's probably my fault because AI is always in
yeah,
my brain. But, I think we do need to be careful that we use it correctly. Not that it's dangerous. I'm just saying it's kind of like you go back 2, 3, 4, 500 years, people moved. They had to physically move. They sit in cubicles today, they sit on the couch on the weekend. The
right,
same type of thing. We've gotten kind of lazy because we
yeah,
can, because before we just survived, we didn't have the economy, we didn't have jobs, right? So you had to go out there and plow the field, chase the chicken to get the eggs. You had to fix your own roof if there was a leak. And so it was more of a primitive lifestyle. For the past 150 years or so, we've been living in houses and there's indoor plumbing and there's HVAC now, and we can sit
yeah,
and watch Netflix all weekend and eat Doritos and drink Coke. Whoa, that ain't good, right? So I think we're going down a similar path, but there are people who do eat well, they don't sit on the couch, and they do exercise, right? So,
100%.
I think that's what you're talking about. If you use it the right way, but so many people aren't, because people will take the path of least resistance,
Sure.
AKA
Yeah.
we're lazy. So, it's interesting, but I'm glad that you guys are using it the right way. What other ways are you using AI? And then we'll move into another subject.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of problem solving. I had a conversation the other day about, moving our booked a lead that comes in, maybe comes in via email, and how we can respond to that even faster, right? Um, Jim calls in sick today. I'm short a person. He's going to make up for it on a different day, but now I'm short today. What do I do? Well, I started brainstorming about it, and I'm like, well, I could use N8N to read my email, to then use Twilio to shoot out a text message to the customer the second the lead comes in, and shoot off an email. With the CRM that I use, the Broccolis or Avocas don't actually integrate with it yet for voice. But I can immediately shoot off hey, do you want to, set up your registration for your free estimate now yourself, right? And so the immediate speed to lead is using effectively free, I mean, pretty dang close to free AI tools that are out there to help. So if you're calling me and I'm stuck, my phones are ringing, I'm jammed up, or I'm short staffed, it's really still about you. You're the customer, and getting you taken care of so that you can move on with your day. Maybe you're running into the office and you're like, oh, shoot, I got to call about my fence, right? And you have a busy day ahead. So if all of those things happen, you're still getting taken care of. And that's the most important piece. So, it will continue to, I mean, I look at how fast this stuff evolves, and you look at tool like N8N a year ago, and you look at it now, we're talking about completely different tools. Before you had to be a coder. Now you just have to know how to speak words and tell it what the goal is and what resources it has.
Become much more user friendly. I remember back in the days with computers, I had to know DOS.
Yeah,
DOS was a
that's a minute.
it was an operating system, and yes, I can, you can tell I'm dating myself, but and so things are a lot easier now. Things just happen on their own,
Yeah,
which is great. Um, Pickleball. So
yeah,
pickleball is a big sport now. Now I'm a traditional tennis player, and I've taken to pickleball a bit because I'm trying to conform, and it's good for my old bones, right? Because it's a smaller court. You guys actually can help people out with pickleball fencing. Is that true?
yeah, yeah. I mean, we've done quite a few courts at indoor facilities,
Mhm.
people's residences. I got quite a few people putting them in residences. There's always something that's new and unique coming out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's pickleball, right? Um, and it's replacing tennis courts now. A lot of times we're pulling out tennis courts, they're redoing the deck, and then we're rearranging everything. I'm in California. One of the biggest things that's been around here is fire safety. We maybe about 5 years ago, I live up in the hills, up in lots of trees, up in lots of, spread land. Um, and, uh, and my fire insurance got canceled, which is a
Oh.
massive thing here in California, right? Uh, and, and so, um, I started looking for fireproof fencing. Well, there's iron fencing that people see through, but people wanted privacy. So we actually found a product out of Australia. It's called Durbon. We started importing it. So now we're 5 years in and bringing this product in, sharing it with everybody. It was kind of moving, but I mean, it was a small market, right? Of people. It was people up in the hills that understood and appreciated fire safety, much like pickleball. It's a pretty big thing, but it takes a little bit to get going. 5 years ago, 8 years ago, pickleball wasn't as big as it is now, right? So it just starts getting going. Well, now in California, in December of last year, they passed a law that now requires metal fencing as the first 5 feet from your house. Well, there's just in Sacramento County, there's 5 counties around me, but just Sacramento County, there's like, I don't know, 250,000 homes. I mean, you start looking at the number of dollars and all of these, and so, this becomes a many, many, many $1 million renovations that are gonna have to be done in the next 3 years for fire safety in a lot of homes. And so sometimes it's about just looking at new products and new things that are coming out and trying them and see what works for you. Sometimes it's not an immediate turn, but now we've become known as the expert in our area for this fireproof fencing that now is becoming required in a lot of geographic areas around us.
Time for a rebrand, innovative fencing.
Yeah.
So you are, ahead of the game fencing, right? So you guys are, um, in some cases, maybe kind of by accident, but you're forward thinking for sure.
Yeah.
Um, you see something with pickleball, you see something with a fence that's not gonna burn from Australia, right? A metal fence type product, and you kind of invest in that, if you will, or at least, position yourself to get into it as it moves along. So many people are looking at yesterday. Many people don't live in the present, they live in the past, and certainly
Yeah.
forward, they're like, "I'm never gonna get old, I don't have to retire, I'm not gonna get bad knees, right? I'm fine, I'm 40 years old, and everything's good." No, things change, and they often look back to their glory days when they were the quarterback in high school, and now they're 40 and so forth. So in business, you do need to always be looking ahead. When people ask me what my one superpower is I see things coming, or I try
Yeah.
to. I'm always looking ahead. When you're driving your car, don't look down at the hood. You need to look out, right?
Yes.
And I think some people do. That's why you get rear-ended. You need to
Yeah.
look out ahead so you can then adjust your speed or your position on the freeway. And
Sure.
in business, you have to do that. You can't be narrow-minded. You have to look wide. You have to look out there, and you even have to take chances, don't you, Dominic, where you invest in something, you'd be like, "We just lost $2 million
Yeah.
dollars on that. Ouch."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but we tried. And when you start throwing stuff up on the wall, some stuff's gonna stick and take you there. If you never do it, you're probably gonna get left behind. It's kinda like what they say about money. Put the money in the market, don't put it in a savings account because
Right.
right? Because it won't keep up with the market. It won't keep up with inflation. So if
Mhm.
inflation's at 3%, you're earning 1.5%, eventually it erodes. So you got to put into something that's going to make 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. And now you're
Yeah.
winning. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of people who are in business, and I know this is true, they say they're in business, they're really kind of self-employed plus. You coach some
Mhm.
of these people I know, and I tell people, I don't believe it's a real business unless you can transfer that to someone without you.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. 100%. And I'd say, hey, on that same scenario, my first investment in material importing, it was $250,000. We imported $250,000 in material. I'd never installed it before. The product was unknown in the area. I had no idea if I'd be able to unload this or not, but I'm betting on one thing. I'm betting on myself in the end. I'm betting on my team in the end. And I'm like, we will find a way to sell this. It's a cool product and we will. And then ironically it became wildly successful, right? But a lot of times you just have to believe in yourself and know that you've been successful this far. You know, keep hard work. You'll keep getting there.
Dominic, before we conclude this discussion, which has been great, I want you to have the opportunity to tell people who are listening and watching how you can help them because I know you love to give back and coach.
Yeah.
How can you help a smaller business that wants to grow to a business of your size of, 10 million or more? How can you help them and how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Um, Best ways are either I'm on LinkedIn. My name will probably be in the bottom, Dominic Vella. Look me up on LinkedIn. You can always shoot us an email here at Fantastic Fence. It's call info at callfantasticfence.com. Reach out to me. I've met doing podcasts. I've met so many great tradespeople from all across the country. I've met them at conferences that we made communication before and then we were both going to the same conference. It's always good to share. Sometimes they're in my same trade, sometimes they're in a totally different trade. But we all have the same struggles. We all have the same successes. It's always good to be in a circle with people that are in the top. You know, we are able to discuss as entrepreneurs the bottom 5% and the top 5%. If you sell your business for $50 million, who do you go tell? Right? If you're struggling, you can't make payroll, who do you go tell?
Mm.
Right? And so the other people that you can tell, the other entrepreneurs that are out there, they get it. They've all been there. At some point, they've been there. And so I always encourage people, please call me, use me as a resource. Let me learn about you. I will take way much. My goal is to take more from the relationship to learn so much about you. So I'd be super excited about that.
And all of Dominic's contact information is located in the show notes. Dominic, thank you so much for joining me today here on Contractor Stories. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, right on. Thank you.